Farlow at Home. I'm Chef Patrick. I am joined today with Lisa, and yeah, that's going to be it.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mom, if you're watching. Hope you're having fun. Betty, if you're here, enjoy. So, yeah, guys, we're going to be doing some homemade fettuccine noodles with some shrimp, little mascarpone cheese, herbs, spring onions, spring garlic, like just a really fun spring dish. And then we're going to be using rhubarb in this instead of doing like some lemon. So it'll be a nice way to incorporate rhubarb in something savory instead of sweet. So
Yeah.
it's going to be cool.
Because it is technically a vegetable.
Is it?
It is.
That's cool.
It's actually not part of the fruit family, even though it gets treated like fruit all the time.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have this beautiful rhubarb from Olin Farm up the street. Asparagus from Olin. Got some garlic and onion from my friends at Rough and Ready. So, nice array of just farms represented and everything. But we are going to make this pasta dough really quick so that it can sit. We want to let it rest after we work up the gluten for at least like 15 minutes to make it easy to roll out. So I'm
I was going to say, I feel like this is the moment everybody waits for, learning how to make fresh pasta.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
It's really simple. I mean, you just need the pasta rollers through the machine.
It makes it easier. You could theoretically hand cut and roll it yourself too, but
You could. Then it's tagliatelle. That's the difference between machine cut and hand cut terms. Cool. So for 2 people, we're going to do 200 grams of flour, fresh pasta.
you mean fresh flour?
For fresh pasta for 2. I think this is, I did the math right. We'll see.
Oh, worst case, you can teach everybody what to do when you screw it up. Right?
No, if, I mean, if we have more than what we'll eat today, that's fine too. Cool. So, let's see. I like putting a pinch of salt in the pasta itself as well.
You still salt the water afterwards, right?
Got caught on the drawer, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna salt the water. Cool. We're gonna have 1 egg in here. Whole. And then we're gonna do 4 yolks.
Probably shouldn't put those down the drain, right?
Why?
Because it'll clog it.
Now.
It's egg whites.
Yeah.
They're thick and viscous and get stuck in things.
As soon as you turn off the freaking disposal.
I mean, I have flooded the kitchen before with it, so. Shankini, yes, it's just AP flour.
Oh, and I'm going to do a pinch of whole wheat as well. I love having a little whole wheat in there. So it's going to be 200 grams of whole AP flour, and we'll do 50 grams of whole wheat.
What kind of whole wheat flour are you using?
I'm going to see what we have.
Pick something.
If we have spelt, I'm going to use that.
There's some in the garage. And this is when I ask him before we get started if he has everything ready yet.
Hey, I found white Sonora. I'm going to use that.
Okay. And it's not going to have much of gluten profile that the spelt will. It's a soft white wheat.
That's fine. Cool. So 50 grams of this. Just want some extra flavor. There we go. And then I'm going to add 6 grams of olive oil. There we go. Doesn't take much.
So what were all the weights now? 200 grams of flour.
200 grams AP, 50 grams whole wheat, 1 whole egg, 4 egg yolks, 6 grams of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and we're going to start mixing, and it's going to need some water,
Okay.
but I never kind of just want to put water in a tablespoon at a time until you get the right consistency.
Yeah, it can be a little bit hard here too because everything's so dry. All the moisture seems to suck out of things, so it normally takes just a little bit more. I feel like that happens to me with baking a lot. Like making pie crust.
Yeah, definitely notice it in pie.
Yeah,
It's just
I
like,
almost always need extra. Can you come up this way? Thank you.
cool.
So you put about a tablespoon in just now.
Yeah.
What are you looking for as far as knowing when it's done?
I will show you. I think there's enough water in here now.
Okay.
Just,
But I feel like every time I've tried to make pasta, you always tell me I put too much water in, so.
yeah, you have to be very. 'Cause
Or
even
too many,
though-
even if I don't put water in and there's too many eggs or something, I always do it wrong.
It's usually the water that's the problem, because it'll look too dry, but then you start mixing it and it's not.
That's how pie crust is.
So, like I can just tell we're good. I squeeze in.
What should it feel like?
Super stiff Play-Doh. And I mean, when you're making noodles, it can be a little looser. It's okay. But it gets to be a problem if you're trying to do stuffed pasta. You just need it as dry as possible, really.
Does
Cool.
stuffed pasta just need the structure to hold it in?
It just, because fillings can make it too wet.
Yeah.
Start absorbing. Cool. So we have this, and the egg yolks made this yellow. I mean, that's all that's.
Yes, always use good egg yolks. Everything should be yellow and orange.
If you have pale yellow eggs, get new eggs.
Yeah.
Or find a new brand or something. You can always wear gloves if you want when you do this.
Is there a reason why you didn't put it on the mixer?
This small amount I make by hand.
Okay.
To me, it's just easier. Mixers can be really misleading for hydration.
So how are you kneading this? You're just folding a quarter over and mashing it down?
Fold it in half, mash, turn, fold it in half, mash, turn.
What happens if you overhydrate on accident?
You're better off
For all
starting
my
over.
amateurs out there.
You're better off starting over.
Really?
It's if you get it way too loose, throw it out. Because even if you try and flour it really heavily while you're in the rolling process, it's just never comes out the same.
Now, what are you trying to do right now?
You just kind of want it to look smooth. So we knead it until you kind of work up the gluten a little. It'll look a lot smoother than it did when we started.
I feel like it's already starting to look smoother.
Yeah. You just don't want it to look feathery.
So you're kind of developing gluten a little bit too while you're doing this?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Nothing, I mean, it's, the eggs are what's going to give it the structure, really. I mean, you're going to, but this is pretty nice. Pretty smooth. So we will, I mean, texture, like, that's not sticky. Feel it? Pretty firm, right?
Yeah.
Like, so. Cool.
And why do we let it rest?
What?
Why do you let it rest?
Well, because if you try to, if I took this and tried to start rolling it out right now, as you roll the sheet through, it like shrinks on you. So you don't, you're just going to be fighting it to get it to the thickness you want it. So.
Gotta let the gluten strands relax a little bit after being worked.
Yeah, let it relax a little bit. This looks great. So. There you go. Cool. I'm going to wrap this with plastic really fast just to keep it from drying out. If you live in a humid environment, you could probably just put a towel over it.
We are definitely not in a humid environment.
No.
Not even close. My recommendation, fresh pasta, you usually want 5 to 6 ounces per person, like if you're eating this as a meal. And then dried pasta would be half that. Okay.
So if you're doing like a dried version, you want like 3 ounces per person.
And for anybody that is not making fresh pasta today, what are you, when should they start their water and their pasta and all of that?
Well, I'm going to start water now. So if you're doing fresh or whatever, or not, just, we're going to throw water on.
Just doing like a full pasta pot?
Yeah. Get this dough off my hands real quick.
And then as far as like cook time goes for the pasta, just follow whatever's on the package. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing like pre-packaged pasta.
Yeah. Follow the directions. They all, I feel like every company takes slightly different times.
Well, yeah, some of the companies that we've done before, like Pastificio and Pappardell's, they all seem to have different times as far as like how their pasta cooks.
Yeah.
I feel like
Fresh, 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, like when it's ready. But cool. Sweet. Get water on. I'm gonna go ahead and get shrimp out really quick and just to get those clean.
Shinkini's asking if you have a pre-made brand that you like.
Yeah, if you live in Colorado, or at least like in this area, Boulder, Longmont, Pastificio is made in Boulder. They use like heirloom whole grain wheat, and they directly support all the regional farms, so they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then, but they only do, what was it?
Extruded.
Extruded pastas like rigatoni, penne, stuff like that. If you want to get noodles, get Pappardell's if you live out here. They're made in Denver. Still really good quality noodles.
Yeah.
They're really great. but they roll all theirs out. So it's just you can get both.
Mm-hmm.
But
Chiquini said she also loves learning the scary pasta making. It's not too bad. As long as it's just getting the dough right. If you get the dough right, the rest of it's pretty simple.
yeah, the big part is the dough, and I have in bold letters in our recipe book for the restaurant said, if you have not made pasta dough, please talk to chef. Because if you get that overhydrated,
Well,
you're
yeah.
just in and up. And then, because we would need to hold it for 2 to 3 days on a tray. If it's overhydrated, even if you toss it in the semolina, it's going to end up as one big clump, and during service, you're just,
Yeah.
you're shit out of luck.
Well, that and the size batch pastas that we were making, if they screw that up, it was kind of a painful thing to throw in the trash.
Yeah, like a couple sheet trays of fresh rolled pasta going. So,
Yeah.
What?
Brian said he thinks your mic is off or that it died.
I got it on.
He got it caught on the drawer earlier and knocked it off, so I'm wondering if he did something to it.
This okay? I don't know.
I mean,
Sorry, guys.
it's showing up on my thing that it's working.
I don't know. I can try and yell more.
No, we don't need you to yell.
Cool. Cool. Favorite seafoods. These are going to be wild caught, USA, shrimp. I love sticking to USA wild caught seafood when I can. The United States has pretty strict regulations to prevent overfishing and stuff, so it's just better to stick to that over something from another country where we don't know what's happening. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get wild caught too, that's always better than the farmed stuff that you...
Most of the time it is. Sometimes it's not. It just, you really have to know about the company who's farm raising and what they're doing. Yeah, it's tricky. Seafood's a tricky one. But
Especially when you're landlocked.
USA wild caught's usually good.
I definitely miss living by the coast for that reason.
Sometimes. But
Oh, Rufus is here.
Of course,
Can you bring your shrimp over here to show everybody how to peel a shrimp?
fresh.
They're not fresh.
Not as I'd like.
Well, you're also a little spoiled. You lived in Charleston forever, so it's about as fresh as it gets. Right off the boat.
Shrimp peeling, make it easy for yourself. Kind of wiggle the tail to snap the shell free. If you pinch and pull, usually get the bottom off. And then come in here where the legs are and just kind of pull underneath and rotate the rest off, and it's the easiest way.
Yeah. I learned how to peel shrimp in Savannah.
At a shrimp boil, right?
Yeah. Well, we went to a restaurant and, it was one of those restaurants where they lay out the newspaper and dump a bunch of stuff. You order it and they dump it out on the table for you to break it all up. And everybody else there was way more seasoned at doing it than I was. So I didn't get to eat as much of it as I wanted to because everybody was crushing it so fast. So I had to learn really quick how to get the shells off and go to town on it.
I mean, that's how I learned how to shrimp boil in Savannah when I was a kid. So.
Yeah. Why are you running it underwater, just out of curiosity?
Because these aren't fresh.
So tell everybody how to work with them if they're not fresh.
I'm just rinsing them.
Because obviously none of us are getting super fresh shrimp out here.
Well, realistically, they're all coming in frozen anyway. Oh, then they freeze them on the boat. So, like, I don't. Typically, no matter where you get them, it should be the same. These are just that fall too long. They're still edible, but it's just not as nice as I would like.
How many shrimp did you get for the two of us?
I bought a pound.
Okay.
I mean, shrimps are so easy to pound a shrimp. I mean, for whatever reason, they just go down.
Yeah.
The best sizes too, if you're like out searching on top of the wild cod, I think 16/20s. That's the specific size. It means there's 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. It's really like the best size shrimp for anything. You start getting bigger than this, they're not as tender. You get smaller than this, and unless you get them peeled, they're
Like prawns?
big prawns.
Yeah.
I mean, they can sometimes be a little chewy.
They're almost like a lobster at that point.
Yeah, but I love this size shrimp.
I feel like it's the standard size for like most places. I don't know. What else do you have on your cutting board? What are those herbs?
Well, I have thyme out.
Oh, okay.
We got some parsley out.
So what made you decide to do rhubarb and pasta? I've never heard of putting rhubarb in pasta.
Oh, I was just trying to think of some awesome spring savory dishes for rhubarb, and this like kind of mascarpone pasta, I would traditionally use some lemon juice in and lemon zest. So I just decided to swap out rhubarb for that since it's so tart. Kind of gives it a more regional take on it, you know?
Well, it's tart and kind of almost fruity too.
So it's going to be a little more vegetal, but it's going to be great.
It'll still be nice with the asparagus because that's kind of got its own flavor profile going on too.
I mean, it's going to be awesome.
Shankini said because his wife loves rhubarb. I do love rhubarb. I had just pre-ordered 10 pounds from Olin for next week. I've already started canning rhubarb jams, and I don't know, I gotta figure out what else I'm gonna make with it. It's like the only thing I have until cherries show up probably middle of next month. So we're about a month away from stone fruit season starting, and then we'll have all the things to play with. So are you going to do anything else to these shrimp? Do you have to clean them at all, or?
I'm going to check each one. We will. I already know I'm going to have to cut some of these open. So
Yeah, I can see a few of them need some cleaning.
just depends. It's a shrimp by shrimp basis for me.
What are you looking for when you're going to clean them?
How dark the back vein is. It's their like filtering mechanism, so they can have sand and it's mostly just sand. You can get some grittiness.
Yeah. Shankini said that she got some rhubarb from a friend of hers. She wants to know if she can freeze it.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I feel like you can.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah.
Rhubarb. I would chunk it up first.
Yeah,
so it's a little easier to manage.
Yeah, I might chunk it and then freeze it, but because I think when it thaws, it might get a little soft.
It definitely will. It's gonna break all the cell structures in the plant.
Yeah.
And it'll purge a lot of water when it thaws, but if you're cooking it,
Yeah, if you're cooking it already, then I would say
doesn't
that would be
matter.
fine. She's just gonna put it in the crumb cake, so that should be fine. I mean, really, it'll last like what, probably about a week or so in the fridge. Anyway,
Especially
after
in
you
a
cut it,
bag.
yeah, if you put it in a bag,
keep it
It'll-
from drying out.
it'll hold on for about a week.
Same with asparagus. Most veggies need to be put in bags.
And herbs too.
Herbs,
Yeah.
I mean, almost everything. Just it keeps the water from evaporating too quick. It keeps greens from wilting. Cool. So, shrimpies, what I'm looking for. I mean, you can kind of see down the backs if there's a dark line. That's going to be like kind of where the grit comes from. So you split it, just kind of pick it out. It's really the best way to do it. And if you don't see anything, you don't necessarily need to do anything. So that's kind of how I go about it. Even if you see a line, sometimes there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes it's just the coloration on the shrimp.
yeah.
Yeah. God, I still remember those shrimp that we got in Charleston. The ones that were like almost iridescent blue on the outside.
Yep.
Remember we got them real fresh that one time?
Yep.
God, they were beautiful.
Literally didn't freeze them on the boat. They brought them in. We bought them the same day.
Yeah, I think those are some of the prettiest shrimp I've ever seen.
And then if you get to these orange shrimp seared, that's going to be the female shrimp. That's what that orange there. It's like their eggs.
Do you just leave that on or do you take it off?
I'll leave it on. It's nothing off-putting or anything about it. It just adds more richness to the shrimp.
Looks like we got quite a few female ones, huh?
Yeah, it's usually a good mix. Oh, I need that on.
Oh. I never know with you. You love to just leave things going. Or the doors open. Is Rufus over there by you?
It's on the floor.
Oh, okay. Figured he'd be right there waiting for a shrimp to fall.
Alright. Let's go. Cool. So. Wash my hands. I have a contact allergy with shrimp. So.
You have a contact allergy?
Yeah, it makes my fingers feel.
Really? Do you think it's the shrimp, or do you think it's like the iodine that they put on it, or? I remember you used to have issues with the fish in Charleston when you were breaking them down. The fins stabbed you or something.
Oh, that happened once. I got speckles up my arm.
Yeah.
Happened to somebody else. They went to the doctor. The doctor didn't know, so I didn't bother.
Yeah.
I got a sunburn and it all went away.
A little bit. Vitamin D will kill it all.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a weird rash almost, wasn't it?
It was speckles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't somebody say that was like a common thing with fish, though? I don't remember.
Anyway. Cool. Alright, so let's see, it's been about 15 minutes. Pasta's feeling pretty good. I'm gonna process my veg first. So that way it's just ready to go, and then we'll, because the cooked pasta is gonna go right into the pan. And it only takes a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this whole thing's about like a few minutes away from coming together.
So, let's pick our time really fast. If it's really tender, you don't have to worry about the stems.
Why did you choose thyme for this?
Fresh herbs. Thyme's just great. I like thyme in almost everything. So. I'm just using up what we kind of had in the fridge too.
Could you do other herbs besides thyme?
I'm doing parsley.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you didn't have time, would you? Is there anything else you would do?
Maybe a little lemon balm.
God, that bush that we had at the restaurant was huge. I think it got 3 times as big every year. It's almost invasive at that point.
You know, or if you have a thyme bush, if it's flowering right now, you could just take all those flowers and chop them up and put them in this. Parsley, fresh from the farm. Oh, I don't know if the camera picks that up, but it's really glossy. It's not matte like it usually is because of the freshness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it definitely makes a difference.
Which means the flavor is going to be really good. Cilantro does the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has that like glossy, you can almost just see all the oils on it, on the outside. So are you just crushing the whole bundle?
Kind of fold it over the tops a little. Just slice it as thin as we can. Chiffonade, that's what it's called.
Stems and all?
Yeah, stems are really tender, especially this time of year. You know, you get a little later,
What if you got it from the grocery store instead of the farm?
I would always like to test the stem or taste it and just kind of see how woody anything is, but you can always just start, if you like can go to the herb and just, if it breaks off like that, it's tender enough to eat, especially if you cut it super thin. Cool. And we have spring garlic. This is our garlic here. We'll just kind of peel off that.
You need to do that mid-camera. Thank you.
That outermost really thin layer. Just kind of peel back. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Just going to line up the
And you're doing that kind of chiffonade style too, super thin.
Yeah. I don't really want to mince it all up, so we're just going to do really thin. I pre-checked for dirt. Please, like, keep in mind these could be dirty. And if that happens, clean them in the bowl of water. Let that dirt sink to the bottom and then just pull them out. Cool. Like, we're just going to cook all this together, the rhubarb, the asparagus, it'll take like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say rhubarb and asparagus cook really quick. So I would fully have everything completely ready before you start throwing them in the pot, yeah.
So
the second you throw them in there, they'll be done.
We're using super tender, really early rhubarb. If the plants get out of control and these get really big, they could end up getting stringy or tough. So if you're doing this later in the season, keep that in mind.
Well, and you can kind of almost tell when they're at that point. I feel like when I run my knife through the rhubarb, it kind of catches on some of the stringiness, and it'll, you can just peel it like a ribbon, right off. And don't worry if your rhubarb doesn't have any red on it or pink. It doesn't indicate whether or not it's ripe. The color just indicates the nutrients of the soil, and that affects the color of the rhubarb, but green rhubarb will still taste just exactly the same as anything with pink on it, so don't freak out if your rhubarb's not bright red. It's still going to be perfectly delicious and completely ripe to use.
So I don't know exactly how much of this I'm going to need. So I'm just kind of making this, so I don't want it to be too tart.
Yeah, and some of my tricks too, if you really or if you're baking especially and you really want your rhubarb to be red, I like to grind up some hibiscus and put that in with my rhubarb to kind of give it that red color. If you for a visual appeal, you don't want the greenish colored rhubarb. You can totally kind of work around it that way and make it look pretty.
Pretty sure it's malic acid in rhubarb, right? Similar to how grapes are.
Malic is usually, I'm not sure actually.
Or is it citric acid?
I don't know. Could be acetic acid.
Reminds me of malic acid. But that's okay. Anyway, we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah. We won't get into the chemistry lesson for today.
I didn't look it up for you, so.
Oh, and this is what I've been dying to get you to on video to do.
Really?
Will you show everybody your magical asparagus trick?
Yeah, so specifically applies to like if you're buying your stuff locally. The grocery store can depend on if you need to do this or not. But asparagus,
When it's super fresh.
hold it both ends and just start to bend. And where it breaks, this is going to be the woody, tougher part
That you don't want to eat.
that you don't want. So just kind of snap it off. It can vary depending on how tall the asparagus was and all that. So
So you definitely don't want to go in and just like hack off the bottoms
nope.
of the bundle.
Especially on the local stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's super fresh like this and just right out of the ground.
Now this base stuff you could use. We'll do some. You could do some vichyssoise or something. Asparagus vichy. Now that we're kind of nearing cold soup season, like the chilled potato soup is excellent. To
So
like
instead of-
bridge the the really cold days with the really hot.
Yeah.
So you do a little potato with asparagus stems, and then to get it super green, you just put in some fresh spinach at the end when you're blending it.
And like with that, do you like using the stems and all, do you wind up going and like straining it then, like fine straining it?
Yeah.
Like a chinois
Always,
kind
because
of.
the potato will make it super smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying
And then
like
you
since
just
we're
mass
using
it.
like woody stems, you don't want to like be chewing on those fibers.
Yeah. So from the top, tap them from the top to get all the tops, and we're just gonna trim this.
Doing about like 1-inch pieces, roughly.
You might have some at the bottom that are a little off, but that's pretty much it. Lots of veggies in this meal.
About to get to the good part.
All right. Cool. So that's prep for the pasta. We can move this stuff out of the way. Alright, so Gruner, right?
Yep, today we're sipping on a little bit of Gruner Veltliner. This one is specifically from the Wachau area in Austria. If you are looking for the perfect white wine for all of the spring vegetables, this is definitely it. It pairs with all the weird things like asparagus that are really difficult to pair with food. It's great with herbs, it's great with citrus. It's just like really bright and crisp, and there's definitely varying styles. So you can get lighter kinds or like some that are richer and deeper. But overall, just great springtime wine, awesome with all the vegetables, all the green stuff. Like, it's so good. It's gonna be perfect with this meal.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's tasty. Cool. So, just bring the flour out. So dough is nice and relaxed. I like to just, we're gonna mash this out.
Can you move
Again,
that
it was-
flour out of the way?
What?
Can you move your flour somewhere else? Thank you. Thank you. It's just right where my camera goes.
So you can see it is not like sticky.
No, you didn't like
Hopefully.
need to dust the counter or anything.
So that's kind of what you want. I mean, ideally.
So what are you doing now? Just kind of
I'm
flattening
just-
it out?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a rolling pin, it's a little easier, but.
I mean, we do have a rolling pin if you would like one.
So, max, you want to try and get this the width of your roller. Whether you have a countertop one, they're usually wider. We have the one that goes on the KitchenAid. Widest setting can vary. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 10. You just need to put it on the widest, and then we're going down to 3 on ours. If your widest setting is 1, then go to, it's probably going to be like a 7. I don't know. They don't have a standardized way to make these, so. Alright. Cool. So this was maxed. If you get too wide, it will start shredding. It will shred up the edge of your dough. So just be careful with that. And we are going to just feed this through. I'm going to give it a little flour. And this is the point where, like, if your dough is a little sticky, like, I don't like doing it, but you could flour up your pasta, fold it over, run it through to try and help get some of your moisture. If it's super wet, you have to start over. But if it's a little sticky, like on the board or something, coat it really well, fold it, work that flour in. It'll help a little, but. We're going to do every other number.
So you just turn this down a notch?
I skipped the number though.
Okay.
So I went from 8 to 6. So you can see, like, it's already pretty long. So what I like to do, fold it in half, make a dimple at the base there so you know where the middle is. Now we're at 4.
And there's just like a little knob on the end, right, that you're like popping down
Yeah.
to change the setting?
Yeah, if you're using this tabletop pasta roller, we'll have the same things on them.
So why can't I go from like starter to like 0?
It's when the pasta sheet is too thick, it can tear up your dough. It's like why we started at the widest. You don't have to go every number. You can skip a number. You might be able to skip 2, but. And then we're going to do the final.
What's the last number
3.
for this? 3.
3 on this machine.
So you did 8, 6, 4, 3.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do like a double skip on the last one?
Well, because I didn't want to go to 2.
Okay. What does 2 do?
It's just thinner.
Okay.
Like it's.
Like why would I want it to be as thin as 2? Like what would be the
2
purpose of that
is
setting?
like raviolis. I will do pappardelle at 2 because it's a wider noodle. But I don't like doing fettuccine at 2.
Would you do lasagna at 2? Or do you think a thicker noodle is better for that?
I think 2 for lasagna would be awesome.
say, actually, it looks like you've got a lot of pasta dough here,
Yeah.
even for tonight. Maybe we can make lasagna.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think I did the math wrong or something. I'm gonna check the weight.
Okay. I mean, it looks great,
Yeah,
but
it's beautiful. So let's see. So we want 6 ounces for the 2 of us, and that's 7. So yeah,
okay.
I made about twice as much as I needed for tonight. But
We'll make lasagna. There's worse things in life, right?
yeah. So
It looks like your water's come up to a boil now.
water's boiling.
You salt that?
I'm going to.
Okay.
So like, even though this dough's pretty dry, if you're gonna save it, definitely wanna like flour it a little bit, so that way, if you're gonna store it as a sheet, this should semolina would be even better, just because it's coarser.
Well, we have semolina.
But that's your sheet. You can just fold it up after you flour it. Should be fine. Lightly wrapped in plastic on a plate in your fridge. Don't put anything on top of it, and you should be able to unfold it and use it the next day. This pasta, I mean, it stays really pretty for like 3 days, and it'll start to oxidize, turn brown, kind of like a grayish brown color.
Yeah.
Just
But it's still good at that point, right?
it's still good. It just isn't as pretty.
Yeah.
Then after, you don't want to hold it more than a week.
Yeah.
So. Cool. So we're gonna swap this out for our fettuccine cutter really quick.
You show it to the camera.
Yeah, fettuccine. You can get linguine, spaghetti. Those are kind of the 3 standardized ones they sell. You might be able to find a pappardelle, which would be like
A wider
double
one,
wide
yeah.
version of this. But
So this is like a cutter then, right?
this is a cutter, yeah. The pappardelle, like any of these, if you only have the roller, you didn't have a cutter. So all you would do is take how we folded this sheet. You do flour again here and fold it here, and then you take your knife and just cut it by hand. And you have, it's technically tagliatelle, but it's hand cut fettuccine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, I'm going to leave the noodles nice and long. You can cut this sheet in half if it's easier to manage.
What setting are you turning on the mixer to?
Medium high.
Okay, like 6 or 8?
Yeah, and if you're not comfortable with this, like go slower. I like cranking it out. So,
You've made a little bit of pasta in your life.
yeah. So we're just going to go right in. Use the back of your hands to feed it through.
It's like Play-Doh, like when you were a kid.
Boom. So, have these beautiful noodles. Again, if you're going to hold these after you cut them, semolina is ideal.
And you always hold it in the fridge, right? Because of the egg.
Yeah, this is not a like pasta you want to dry really.
Yeah.
This is, if you're going to do a dried pasta, it would just be water most of the time. But maybe you could dry this out. I don't know. I don't know how that works with eggs, but
I don't either. You're the expert, so if you
I've
don't know,
never-
I don't know.
I've never tried this stuff. Put it that way. Cool. So, nice pasta ball there. That's going to be 7 ounces total for us. Perfect for fresh tonight. Wait, I wanted 6 ounces per person. That's what I said, right?
I don't know what you said, maybe?
Yeah. I barely made too much.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Reheat it.
Just make it all.
Cool. All right, pan's going. We're just going to throw everything in. We are going to saute in a light amount of this avocado oil. I will do the shrimp very last because that cooks.
I feel like all of it cooks really fast.
Yes, it does. But there's nothing worse than nuked shrimps.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
So that's all your herbs, your asparagus, your rhubarb.
Yeah, I went ahead and threw it all in.
Okay. Getting a little salt in there.
Salt. While you're doing that, put a little salt in this water here. So we use the pasta water to season, to finish seasoning this at the end. So just be mindful. You don't want it like ocean.
Not the typical advice. I mean, unless you're doing box pasta, then in that case it's probably not seasoned.
For like blanching vegetables. That's really it. Cool. If you have this, it's called a spider. Great for pasta scooping.
Can you show it to the camera?
It's called a spider. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Cool.
Is my phone getting hot?
Is it?
I'm asking.
I don't know. You cutting off?
No, but like the picture just started getting kind of choppy, so
Wait,
when it wasn't doing that earlier. So I'm wondering if it's because it's hot.
I don't know. Alright. So what you want to do, just take a piece of asparagus and try it and kind of see your doneness level. We're almost there. For the mascarpone, I ended up getting a Vermont Creamery mascarpone. The company makes some pretty good dairy products, but another certified B Corp. Alright.
Wow, that smells really good.
So, add shrimp, pasta,
Good boy.
cool. Toss this in.
Oh, you big log. So how long are you cooking this pasta for?
For whatever reason, my water quit boiling.
Cooled it off too quickly with your pasta.
Should take about 3 minutes in boiling water.
God, it smells so good in here.
So this dough with the whole egg in it, the egg white, adds a little more protein. So these noodles do have like a natural, they're going to be al dente, fully cooked, like every time. And it's not going to get less al dente. You would have to cook it for like 20 to 30 minutes.
So you're just tasting them to tell whether or not it's done?
Yeah.
My phone's overheating.
I can't do anything about it.
I'm just telling you.
Alright. Well, you're not going to see this really well, but spider's not going to work.
Noodles are too long?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I got myself there with the long noodle.
The tongs aren't working either.
The noodles are way too long.
What about the slotted spoon? Would that work?
Oh, it's fine. We're going with the 1990s pasta spoon.
How much pasta water did you save?
Probably not enough. Anyway. We're going to melt this cheese in. And then, this was an 8-ounce container. I just went ahead and put it in. And then we can hit this with a splash of water. I ended up dumping our pasta water down the sink, so.
Hey, buddy, can you wait?
Nice. Bring this over so we can see it. We'll taste for salt really quick.
You might move to the right a little bit. Your other right, but
Oh, so good. Alright. So, flour and all on the board. We have this, I cut off the heat like 5-10 minutes ago now. We just finished it. Utilizing the leftover heat, we put the cheese in, a little of the pasta water, seasoned it to taste. So yeah, it's pretty great. Rhubarb, it's just like lemon in there. Cool. So, great trick when you're doing pasta. Spin the noodles with your tongs. Better if you have the, and that gets all the larger chunks of goodies out of your noodles, and then you can come back and put those over top.
it smells so good in here right now. I don't even think I was that hungry when we started, but I am now for sure.
Yeah.
Like you made pasta for 10 people over there.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway. So yeah, beautiful spring pasta utilizing rhubarb and everything, guys. Pretty quick. Just over an hour to make pasta from scratch and everything. So
No, it's really not that bad.
yeah.
And beautiful dish. I'm very excited to eat a forkful of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, again, thanks for being here. And if you got any, knowledge or anything off this, please like and subscribe. It always just helps us get this out there to help as many people as possible. So,
tell your friends.
Yeah, realistically, like just a cool way to, utilize what we have. So
Yeah. And cook delicious food.
Yeah.
At least once a week, it's a nice treat.
Yeah. So yeah, well, thank you so much. I hope you all have a great week, and I will be here next time for you. CSAs should be starting up soon. I would imagine the next couple weeks.
Yep.
And we'll really start to have some produce flowing. So
We're getting, every week there's more and more things at the farmer's market, so we're getting closer and closer to the glory days.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Sweet, y'all.